How's it going, guys? It's Ethan with HustlePaintball.com, and today we've got the new X7 Phenom. Tippmann just sent us one. We're going to do a complete review on it. We're going to open it up, show you how much it weighs, how big it is, what it looks like, all that good stuff. So let me actually start by opening this thing up and showing you what's in the box. Alright, well, it looks pretty similar to your standard X7. Has a different magazine, and this actually opens up and doubles as a tool compartment, just like on the standard X7s. Cyclone feed, got your low profile cyclone hopper. We've got a slightly smaller front shroud than is on the standard X7s. So let me put that on, let you see how that looks. Just like the standard X7s, it secures with two of these push pins. Can be a little tough to get in, but they stay in there nice and firm. Now, one thing you may notice, if you're familiar with the X7s at all, is that right here on the other side doesn't have any tactical rails. You know, I believe they probably just did away with those because not very many people were using them. Personally, I'm not sure. You may have to ask Tippmann. Other than that, it does appear to be similar size and weight as the standard X7s. You do see the milled out body panels. The internals of this gun are much smaller and more compact than that of a standard X7. So they, really the body could be much shorter. The reason they kept the body height the same and just milled this out for weight is so it's compatible with most of your popular X7 upgrades. Why don't we take a look at some of the popular features and see what this thing can do. So we've got the X7 Phenom here with the shroud installed. The barrel obviously is off. I want to just go ahead and point out some of the key features that I really like about this and things you're going to notice right off the bat. Number one, there's no bottom line hose. Your ASA, your air source adapter, takes the air from your compressed air or CO2 tank. This is dual compatible and runs it right up the handle into the gun. So that's pretty cool. Nice clean lines. Number two, we've got a different style magazine than the other X7s. And as you can see, when you remove it, it folds apart so you can have some tools in there. Kind of a cool feature. Put that back together and it clicks into place really securely. As I touched on earlier, we get clean lines along the side. There's no more tack rails on the side. Some people may be a little bummed about that. We'll have to see. It's something that I may or may not have expected, to be honest, but they did it, and that's kind of where we're at. One cool thing I do like, personally, about the shorter shroud is when you secure the barrel, well, personally, I just think it looks better with a little bit more of a barrel sticking out the front. That's completely personal. It's up to you. If nothing else, the smaller shroud is just a little bit lower weight. Now, as you can see, we've got your three selector switch options. And this is something that I want to show you a little bit closer. If you can see the little divots here, when you move the selector switch to each one of those knobs, it'll actually stop on that divot. Any of you guys with an A5 Hall effect or an older, or a non-Phenom X7, you may notice sometimes when you switch between the different modes, it can go halfway in between, but not so with this. And I really hope they start doing this on all the new X7s. That little divot feature is really great. So on the back, you've got your easily openable battery compartment. Real nice for changing out the batteries. By the way, this gun does come with a 9-volt in the box, so that saves you a couple bucks. We've got the milled out area near the top of the gun. It just cuts down on weight, gives it a nice cool look. And that pretty much covers what you can see from this side. If you flip it over, take a look at this side, we see that the cyclone feed is slightly different. It's got different paddles inside than the X7s currently do. It's got a slightly different hose. This is an extra enhanced performance cyclone feed. It's just designed to keep up with the extra speed that the X7 Phenom is going to be able to put up. So that's a cool little nice feature. while these do look like some of the aftermarket squishy pedals, they are not. They're they're not flexible. So while they do look like they might be, just want to let you know they are not. There's a couple things I want to point out. One, right here is your velocity adjustment. Now, it actually works similarly to an automag in that when we take this apart, you'll see that this is a disc that you would be able to rotate with your fingers. But there are a series of holes. You can stick an Allen wrench in there and rotate it either to increase or decrease. And it's marked pretty clearly, plus, minus, pretty straightforward, nice design. We've got our mag release here. You can easily remove and replace the magazine. So back to this side. You got your top weaver rails. Got this guy here, front and rear sides, and on the back you've got a sling mount. So as we take a closer look at the trigger, you can see it's metal construction. And if we can zoom in a little bit, I want to show you this adjustment point right up at the top. That allows you to use a small Allen wrench to finally adjust your trigger pull and travel. Real nice system. It's a much smoother trigger than I would have expected, to be honest. As it's right now, it's set to be a pretty short trigger pull. We've put quite a bit of paint through this, and this thing is smooth. So what I want to do is open this up, and we're going to walk through the internals and really show you what this thing is all about. So let's get started on that. Now, as we begin this disassembly, we want to make sure to check the first thing you should always check when you're disassembling your gun. Make sure there is no air source attached to the gun. Don't even try and disassemble a gun when there's an air source attached. It's just not smart. So take off I took off the push pins in the front shroud. We're going to pull that off. And I want to tell you about how light this gun is and the weights of the different components. Now, the gun itself, as you see it here, is 3.25 pounds. The shroud is 0.15 pounds. The magazine is 0.1 pounds. The barrel is 0.15 pounds. And the hopper is 0.4 pounds. So the total is just a hair over 4 pounds unloaded. Not bad for a solid gun like this. So let's next thing we're going to do is pull out these push pins, and I got something real cool to show you with that. All right, here we go. You guys ready for this? So check this out. Your air comes in here and goes straight up into the gun. There's got to be some sort of hosing or something, right? Wrong. Pull that off, and as if you look in the top of the grip frame, we've got this integrated hosing in here that slides into the tube in the body, and that makes it really easy for disassembly. This is cool. Now, we're going to touch on this trigger frame later, so let's keep on working on taking apart the body. Got my Allen wrench. I'm going to start pulling out these screws.